It's Friday, and I want to talk about the power of the multi-ready ups, even at the end of the day today. Look what came in as this big deep dive. Look what came in as soon as this double ready up showed up inside the crab. Now, yes, there was the open line there as well. It is Friday. There's some things, if you want to go from a macro perspective of, they want to hold this up on a Friday so they can say they closed in positive territory. So that also is going to give a little bit of light to the fact that this double ready up inside of a PRZ helped out. But watch this. So notice there is no ready ups, no ready ups, no ready ups. We could come in here and boom, double ready ups start to show up. And even though this thing looks like it's coming down, watch the power of the ready up once again. Continue to move up once again. This is on the algo bar ones. This works on multi-time frame. And look at this. We got a double ready up right here. So what do you think is going to happen here? Probably going to have a down move, right? And we got a little bit, yes. And then down into Super Enigma. What is a Super Enigma? We call it the Super Enigma when you get the Enigma plus one of our ready DDs. Pops it back up again into, there's the close at the end of the day. But let's go back even farther. Let's go to the higher time frame. I'm going to go up to the top left, and here's the day. Now, if you guys watched this morning's live stream, if you missed it, go back and check it out. It was a red day for me, but it is a learning day to once again trust the system, trust the ready ups here. I'll tell you the ones that got me off right here, this 23.9, missed the target there by a tick hair there, which should have probably given me the idea that we could have some downward movement further. This all happened very quickly this morning. I would not say I was on my A game there this morning. Probably could have read through that and known that as we come back in here, we can make a down move. But we broke through the shark. So a lot of hard reads in this area. But here comes the clear, absolutely clear read right here. This was literally the low of the day. Never came back to it whatsoever. This was at 954-ish and some change. This was the pivot point of the day. And I think you can see what I'm talking about. The ready DD, double ready Ds. Now, it's even better if they're triples. But what we have found is on the higher time frames, if you get two, it's enough to make the move. And there it is. So this one ends up right back behind it. We also get a Richie trap. So there was two reasons for me to go ahead and take that. And I doubted it right here. This was me once again. I doubted it. Actually, originally I went long, but when this started to do this number right here, I got scared out. I literally got scared out. Just trust the system. Should have trusted the system, allowed myself a little bit more room. I think I probably would have when I'm looking back at it. I needed to review my day here, particularly around the fact that had I not been slightly red already from the prior moves and been frustrated at two of my executions that I was actually right on. If you go back and watch the live stream, you'll see what I mean, because I was right twice and executed poorly and ended up turning into a scratch trade and one minor loss. And should have been up 2K, but ended up literally up like $100. I think maybe it's 256-ish, I think. So I had to go back and look at that one. However, this, I wanted to study and drill this into my brain, so I had to come out here and I want to record this and talk about the double ready up once again to solidify it for myself. Now, when that had just told me that it was awesome as we start to move up here, and I'm kicking myself in the teeth for not holding on to that position as it starts to grind higher, then I see this one. So I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll make up for it. And I go short here. This is a situation where I want to point out that they're not all 100%. Because as this moves up here, well, what do I want to think? I want to try to get short. And I did. And it did not work out. So I end up getting ground out right around here, and I just fully stop out. When we cross this line, that's why I drew that white line there. If we were not going to go in the Titanic zone, so I end up literally losing over $20,000 today, which is a bummer. Now that sounds like a lot, but go look at the numbers we've been putting up here this week. Yesterday did 11,000. We've had multiple five-figure days this week, and I'll tell you something else that you can learn from this little experiment right here. That is a 3 wise men coming in there, and it was green on the MACD. So another spot where even though I got this wrong, unfortunately, here's why I couldn't play that mentally for me. What was hard for me to play the 3 wise men, the 3 WM, was I had the ready up zone. I'd already drawn it in here. I'm like, okay, well, I'll stop out outside of this zone, and look where the 3 wise men showed up. That is a bummer for me, but I am drilling this into my own mind here today that goes, listen, just take the play that's there in front of you first and then look back, because I'm looking back at it in hindsight 2020, of course, going, I could have still had a 2-try rule regardless. Whether it didn't work out, I could have come back in and caught it again, but my ego was flashing here. It was too tough. I was kicking myself from the last one. There were a lot of mental things going on there with this play setup that I didn't get it. Now, another thing that gave it away to me right here. This took forever. Like, what's the time? Let's look at the time that went by here. This was like an hour sitting in this spot, just doing nothing burgers, but popped over into an idiot room. You know, the ones we got into the Schwartz room, and you got all the idiots in there talking, and all of them are talking about shorts. They're like, oh, it's going to come down. Oh, it's going to come down. And I literally said it in the live stream. I was like, man, I should get long. So I literally did for like a half second. I went long. And then when this little down move came in, I shook myself out of it. And it comes back up and stops me out again. So big loser for me there on a Friday. And when I'm sitting there thinking about it, once again, right here, retail run strategy would have been amazing. You hear multiple people in Mike Schwartz's room over there looking at the short, and it's grinding up. That's the perfect play against the retail run. When you got multiple retailers talking about going to the short side, especially in Mike Schwartz's room, it is an easy play up to the long side, and it was. It was a march through the rest of the day, up and up and up and up. She goes against all of them. And they were all, even when it got right here, I went back into his room again and watched them all screaming for the short right here. And I wanted to get long there, but my kids were like, let's go outside. We're going to the park, blah, blah, blah. I come back in the afternoon to look and see, and we get this dump out to a 21.6. It came down so fast, though, I was scared to play this one. So I am beating myself up here today for not just playing what's in front of me, and was just, you know, I'm down 20K, so it was kind of hard for me to be like, I'm not going down more than that. So it ended up being like 21.8, 22, let me look over it again, 21,820 for the day. That is an awful day on a Friday, especially when it was definitely a day I could have caught multiple times. Great opportunities. Another one I want to point out up here, the double ready up, push down. That was at 7 a.m. though, so not going to be awake for that one. But double ready ups, point them out, draw them out on your chart, do some back testing on these over the weekend for yourself. Look at how powerful they are on the higher time frames. Now remember, you need a triple ready up for the lower time frame. I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. But then end of day, here we go again. So even after all that grind up all day, boom, and the down pops back up with the Enigma shoving it all the way back up until what? Double ready up again, coming in, double ready up, being the high of the day, pulling it back down and in. Ready up shows up right here. This is that end of day triple ready up on the lower time frame. So if we zoom back out, let's go all the way out to the full time frames to see all time frames and how this all played together. Triple ready ups down here to move it up. Yeah, the Enigma end up getting 20 ticks. Got to respect the Enigma. Ends up still giving 20 ticks out there, so you can play it both directions right there, all the way up to the double ready up and down. Double ready ups. Type that down in the comments down below. If you love it, you should. And if you don't, let's point it out one more place where it came through for you. Look at this. So even after all that grinder, there we go, coming into the higher time frame, ready up ends up being the high call. Of course, it came in with an 11.6 that helps it out as well for a big, nice, juicy down move. If I'm using my measurement tool from top to bottom, you don't have to catch the whole thing, but that still is a 91 tick drop there on that move off of, again, ready ups coming into higher time frames. Now, you might want to say, well, even all the way up on the 89, we also had a great play up here. I'm going to take this off of the always on top here for a second so I can draw on it. So we've seen this pattern multiple times. At the same time, I have seen these come through, tap in, and drill out of here. This was a tough spot to read on it, but there were other ways to read that. We talked about the W the other day when everybody was questioning, well, what should we do right here? Said, don't trade against the W. Hopefully you can see this W. We have this in our strategy section on the left-hand side of Discord, how to avoid the playing against that type of setup. because it ends up continuing on. I talk about that quite often. We avoided the loss the other day, ended up making 11,000 that day on that play setup, seeing that come in. Did have the divergence, which ended up being the push down. This was not today, this was overnight for the push down. Comes in, hits that golden rope inside of the Bollinger Band squeeze, taps it back up, and literally the entire day was 389 bars. So a 300 tick move. So if you struggled today, like, listen, give yourself a pat on the back, because this was not an easy day, unless you're playing the ready ups, obviously, which is kind of what I was kind of showcasing there today. Within a 300 tick move, the entire day on the Dow was inside of 3 ticks. Sorry, it looks like my microphone is popping on you guys. Let me peel that back just a little bit there. Hopefully it's not going to test 1, test 2. Wow, it seems like it's still popping up there a lot. All right, hopefully the audio is okay for you guys. Monday, I think we are in for a candy day. Have a lot of reasons why. We had multiple days that were difficult in a row, so I think a candy day is due. I think it was a candy week, because this entire week was tricky. We came away with good numbers for the previous 4 days. Friday ended up being a big fat red loser, which kind of sucks for me. But I want to zoom back out to here. No, where is it? Right here. Yes. Okay. Don't forget about the red rover or green rover situations on the MACV. We'll talk about this on Monday. So come back and we'll talk about red rover, green rover. Here is a perfect example right here. It's even better when it just hits the dark red or the dark green. We'll show examples of that. Those are going to be some of your biggest and deepest pullback plays. Those are awesome. We'll also talk about the 1AO and other strategies coming. We've got the entire documentation section completed. It is there on our website. If you go to the training menu, if you want to get it free, you better go check it out this weekend, because on Monday it'll be back behind the paywall. So go hook that up. Speaking of paywalls, you're going to want to make sure that if you decided to join with us during your 2-week free trial, we've got $24.99 lifetime everything. We're only doing it for 3 days through Sunday. It's the last day to get in on that. Then on Sunday, it will go to $29.97. Still a pretty good deal there, prepping up for Black Friday coming up next month in November. And we're releasing AlgoBox STX for stocks. Don't forget, if you're using the Pro Pack, you can trade stocks with our platform, but STX is getting released on November the 1st. So to celebrate that, we are doing a discount offer that we've never done before, $24.99. Hook it up, only good through Sunday. It's there on the website, and that is with the code Smart Saver. You don't need to remember that, but check it out. It's on the website there, Smart Saver for the code. It'll already be there. If you click on Lifetime, it's already there in the link. So I will catch you guys there on Monday. Be back. Don't forget code AlgoBox for Apex. If you want the cheapest discounts on Apex, AlgoBox is always going to be the best code to get the deepest discounts on Apex. So if you're signing up for Apex accounts over the weekend, hook that up. If you're doing 3 accounts with Apex, we are sending you a golden knife. Thanks for hanging out. Happy Friday. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mossbot, Curtis G, and Eddie B, I am sitting out of the Big H Town. See ya.